Hey guys, this is Jen Hersh with Crossroads Chiropractic and Wellness, and today we are going over one of everyone's favorite exercises, the plank. One of the reasons that I'm making this video is I'm actually encouraging different types of planking, really according to your strength, your core, your, comfort level, because I think people kind of get stuck in this thought process that there's only one way to do things, when in fact, there's a bunch of different ways to do things. So this video is going to offer a bunch of different options for ways to plank, including some options for you in your office, because I'm starting this whole series of different ways to incorporate movement throughout your entire day. And what a great way to get some core activation throughout your entire day. It doesn't have to be this, what you picture on fitness videos as, on the ground dying, right? I mean, planks can make us feel that way sometimes. But the point of this is gentle core activation throughout your day. For the sake of this, I would much rather see less time in your plank and better quality, making sure we're activating the right muscles, making sure we're being very intentional with our breath through this. So we'll start at the top and kind of work our way through. Now, traditional planking, a lot of times people think of, okay, some people say plank is here, some people say plank is here. So generally speaking, this is what we're going to call a high plank or a push-up position plank. And then this is more of your traditional low plank, right? And that process of going back and forth is actually a plank up, just in case you were curious. Now, plank ups are another one of my favorite exercises, but that's going to be a little bit more of an advanced one. Have fun with that if you want to incorporate it. Now, when thinking about the plank, we have to think a lot about our trunk being in the correct, essentially, alignment, connection, however you want to verbalize that, right? So I'm really thinking about my rib cage being in the same line as my hip bone. So this is what we call basically that stacked core, right? Now this stacked core basically lets me squeeze my glutes a little bit, lets me kind of zipper my core up, and to keep that glute squeeze and that zipper of the core while also breathing into it. This also kind of delves into some different types of core activation. And so with this, I have my core zippered, right? My glutes are engaged. And then I'm going to breathe into my sides while I'm in this plank position. That wasn't even the best example. Really breathing into your sides, you shouldn't have a lot of movement up here. It should all be through here. And this teaches entire abdominal bracing. So for a lot of people, what we really actually have to focus on is, what does that look like supported? Right? So for some people, this is enough of a challenge, right? I'm neutral. I'm not up here. I'm not down here. I'm not arched, right? That rib cage is nice and stacked. Core is zippered. Glutes engaged. My shoulders aren't collapsing, right? I'm here looking about 45 degrees ahead. Now, if that's easy for you, awesome. Really focus on breathing into your sides. Right. And when we're focusing on that, when I count reps in a plank, I'm counting successful breaths that I'm able to keep my abdominal activation. And that's really the point. So wherever you can keep solid abdominal and glute activation, that's where you want to start. So if that's too easy, moving to the, full plank on your toes, right? For me and for a lot of individuals, this is more core. This incorporates a lot more like shoulder stability, right? So it also depends on your goal with that action. High plank shoulder, low plank more core, right? So that's going to depend on where you are in your programming or where you can stabilize. Another option for individuals, I love the ball, right? So let's say maybe I can't be on my toes because of a foot injury. Let's say that forearms or shoulders are just really not there at this point. Different types of elevations in your planks are great options as well. Here, gives me a lot of options, right? Gives me the ability to learn to stabilize that trunk in this plane of motion, right? See how it's kind of tucked under, right? I want to be right here. I can focus here on even adding movement if I wanted to stabilize in different areas, or this right here could be enough of a challenge. Once again, you could also bring that up to those full toes as well. That is another variation of a plank. That's a ball supported plank, adding a little bit of stir the pot in as well. All of those actions, I'm only holding as long as I can feel stable, because that's the most important part, right? I don't care about, essentially how fancy or how cool it looks. I really want to think about you using this as an action of intention to zipper that core, to use that glute, and to learn to breathe into your sides, because that type of bracing and that type of working shoulders, core, all that will help in every lift and just in daily life. So some of my clients, right, that need to maybe throw some core activation through their day, it might be difficult to get down on the ground essentially during their workday. So another option, I don't have a camera height for this, so we'll pretend like I'm standing. You could even use a desk corner. I have a jacket here just in case, that's essentially a little too pinchy for people. You can plank on the edge of your desk or on the edge of a stairwell, right? So any version of this is a great way to add a plank into your day. For some of my people that maybe that is even too much, get against a wall, right? Get your feet out here. The lower you go, this is still a core activation, right? So getting creative with whether you're doing it standing, whether you're doing supported, right? And that's all just front planks, right? So then moving into some different variations of different types of planks. One of my other favorites for shoulder stability is a side plank. Now, there's a lot of different types of side planks. This is kind of what you see a lot, and this is really not my favorite. Not only is that a lot of stress on the shoulder, that's also a lot of stress on the ankle. My preferred type of doing a side plank is actually on your knees. I start with a little bit more of a 45-degree and then squeeze up into it like a bridge. But note, my arm is still stacked, my core is still zippered, I'm not here, because from here, we can do a lot of things. We can put a leg out for stability, we can keep them both here, whichever feels more comfortable, right? I can add in some rows, I can add some reach throughs, right? I can add some plank dips. These are all different variations of a side plank that can be done according to where you're at stability-wise, right? That works all types of multiplanar stability. That whole time, though, I'm still focusing now in this plane of motion, keeping that core neutral. Another one of my favorites, the reverse plank. So the reverse plank is a great way to get the entire posterior chain strong. And I've actually gone over these in other videos before, but I figured we'd throw it back in here again for this one. So this one, once again, am I using my glute and my core to stabilize me? So I'm going to squeeze my glute, squeeze my core. Great hamstring, great calves, great low back, got some shoulders in here, a little bit of neck stability there too. So these are all different variations of plank that you can incorporate into your routine. Now, if you want more direction on that, whether ones are appropriate for you or not, or if you're struggling with it, feel free to message me, reach out, ask questions. I'd love that. But if nothing else, here's a great reference video for different types of planks.